Hello, Charles.
Hi, François.
Yeah, it's the day after. The debate is all everyone's talking about. The candidates, no rest for them.
No, back on the campaign trail for both of them. Emmanuel Macron, the centrist candidate, went to the south of France, to the city of Albi. He visited a glasswork factory there. Well, France 24's reporter Claire Williams is following him as usual. We're going to join her on the line now. She's in Albi currently. Claire, it would appear that just like Marine Le Pen today, as we'll see later, he has also received a frosty reception at the glassworks factory there in Albi.
Well, I should just explain to you, Charles, that the line of cars you can see behind me are about to take Emmanuel Macron away. He's inside the glassworks factory just behind me, about to hold a press conference. Now, when he arrived at the factory about an hour ago at the gates, he was met by a group of CGT far-left trade union members. They are not very pleased with Emmanuel Macron. They think that he's bad for workers' rights. They say that he would only be good for businesses. He only has business interests at heart. Emmanuel Macron didn't seem particularly fazed, though, by the arrival that he got and the greeting that he got by these CGT members. We actually spoke to him. Perhaps he's still riding high on the news that Barack Obama will endorse him. But anyway, he didn't seem particularly upset. We actually managed to ask him a quick question as he was walking in, and I think we can take a listen to that now.
I respect men and women who have opinions based on traditional ideologies, like that of the CGT union or others. I don't agree with them, but it won't stop me from working with them. We're going to a company where the CGT is very present, but managed to negotiate new agreements. There will be discussions on these labor issues. It's just that our country needs to go forwards. We're the only country in the EU that hasn't managed to solve the problem of unemployment.
As you heard there, Emmanuel Macron was not particularly fazed by the greeting that he got when he arrived at the glassworks factory. He'll be heading into the centre of Albi this evening to hold a rally. It'll be his last major rally before that vote on Sunday.
Thank you very much, Claire Williams, reporting there on the campaign trail following Emmanuel Macron in the city of Albi.
Yeah, Claire talking about that endorsement from Barack Obama.
Absolutely. The centrist candidate had already widely advertised a phone conversation the two men had last month, but this time around, the former American president recorded a video in which he clearly endorses Emmanuel Macron for the French presidential election. And as you're about to hear, he even attempts to speak a little bit of French.
I have admired the campaign that Emmanuel Macron has run. He has stood up for liberal values. He put forward a vision for the important role that France plays in Europe and around the world. And he is committed to a better future for the French people. He appeals to people's hopes and not their fears. And I enjoyed speaking to Emmanuel recently to hear about his independent movement and his vision for the future of France. I know that you face many challenges, and I want all of my friends in France to know how much I am rooting for your success. Because of how important this election is, I also want you to know that I am supporting Emmanuel Macron to lead you forward. En marche. Vive la France.
Well, there's one controversy that did come out of this video, the use of the expression liberal values, which is subtitled in the video as valeurs libérales in French. Well, the word libéral relates to the economy and wanting the state to take a less interventionist position with regards to the market. So it's traditionally got a right-wing connotation, the word libéral in French. So praising Macron's libéral values is problematic for someone who's trying to explain he's above old party traditions.
Americans see liberal as socially liberal, whereas
in French it's more of an
economically
term.
liberal, yes. Which is more
liberal
free market.
With regards to the market, yes.
The other candidate, Marine Le Pen, she too was back on the campaign trail. We talked about Emmanuel Macron getting met by some opposition from those trade union workers. What was it like for Le Pen?
It was a bit worse than Macron. Because,
worse?
Yes, I'd say a little bit eggy. The candidate of the National Front went to visit a transport company in the village of Dol de Bretagne in Brittany, and she was welcomed by a group of about 50 people chanting against her, things like fascists out or, quote, you don't belong here. And then they also threw eggs in her direction, so she had to find refuge inside the company building. Well, the west of France is generally an area in which Le Pen does not perform well. It's traditionally more left-leaning. For instance, in the village of Dol-de-Bretagne, Emmanuel Macron won the first round with 27% of the vote. Le Pen came in second, quite far behind with 19% of the vote. Marine Le Pen will be ending her day in much friendlier territory in the village of Enema in northern France, where she won with 37% of the vote in the first round. Our reporter, Kat Nicholson, is there. We're joining her by phone. Kat, what's the welcome been for Marine Le Pen in Enema?
Well, here in Enema, Marine Le Pen is going to be met by a stall selling leeks, carrots and beetroot, another one selling candy floss, and a big inflatable giant slide for children. This is a purposefully village fete vibe at this last campaign meeting, we think, for Marine Le Pen. And several hundred National Front Party members have travelled here especially for the occasion. So it's certainly a festive welcome for Marine Le Pen. It's a friendly welcome, as you said. The National Front Party has also invited workers from that Whirlpool factory that we were all talking about a couple of days ago. That's around about 45 minutes drive away from here in the city of Amiens. And the National Front has made a point of inviting workers from that factory to come to this village fete should they wish. This is a small village that got 37% of the votes for the National Front, like you said. That's actually 61 voters in total. And there are people in this region who do not like Marine Le Pen at all. There's one local supporter of La France Insoumise, the far-left movement launched by Jean-Luc Mélenchon, and he is organising a not very welcome party, I think we can put it that way, for Marine Le Pen. He's got around about 80 people joining in with that, just a couple of hundred meters away from this village fete in the village of Enema. Marine Le Pen herself will be speaking pretty shortly, within the next 30 minutes or so, we think. So I'll be able to tell you what she says a little bit later on.
Well, thank you very much, Kat Nicholson. We look forward to hearing from you later. That was Kat Nicholson reporting there from Enema in northern France.
We were mentioning in the headlines that one of the fallouts from last night's debate is an official probe has now been opened by the Paris prosecutor's office, Emmanuel Macron filing a lawsuit over a remark made by Marine Le Pen during the debate.
Yes, filing a complaint during the debate. Marine Le Pen implied or asked the question to the ether of whether or not Emmanuel Macron had an offshore account in the Bahamas, in a tax haven. He denies this strongly, calling it defamation. Judicial sources say they've opened an investigation into the incident. It comes just 3 days before the crucial final round of voting takes place. Andrew Hillier has more.
What started online as an accusation is now in the hands of French prosecutors. It began circulating 2 hours before Wednesday's fiery debate got underway. Then it was repeated by Marine Le Pen during her televised clash with Emmanuel Macron.
I hope we won't discover you have an offshore account in the Bahamas.
Her insinuation can be traced back to this website, a right-wing site called Disobedient Media. It published what it claimed was a document supposedly proving that Emmanuel Macron had an offshore account in the Bahamas. The document was then picked up by users on the internet forum 4chan before it was spread by hundreds of Russia-linked Twitter accounts with the hashtags Macron and Bahamas. But its authenticity was immediately called into question. France 24's observers have closely analysed the document. The signature itself appears pixelated, suggesting that it may have been added using computer software. Macron himself was quick to quash the allegation.
I've never had an account in any tax havens whatsoever. This is typical of what we call fake news, and so Mrs. Le Pen threw that in. She's got troops on the internet preparing the groundwork.
His campaign team have filed a complaint. Prosecutors have now opened a preliminary investigation into whether fake news is being used to influence Sunday's vote.
That's it for the campaign beat, François.
All right, many thanks, Charles Pellegrin.